Hello, viewers, listeners, lay associates, conference all over the world. We welcome you to this conversation organized by the General Secretariat of Evangelization in collaboration with Scala News. We have today our own dear confrere, Father Johannes Römelt. He served the congregation as a formator and also as superior at different levels. Currently, he serves as the coordinator of the Conference of Europe. I welcome you to this conversation, Father Römelt.
Thank you for the invitation.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
You look great today.
Oh, it's a lovely morning in Rome. No? It's springtime.
Yes, of course. You are welcome, and today's discussion will focus on the identity of the Redemptorist and mission in the context of the Conference of Europe. And of course, taking into consideration the society of Europe and the church in Europe. I would like to ask, first of all, your personal experience with the Redemptorist mission and charism.
Yeah, thank you. I met Redemptorists first at school, so as a student in our school in Collegium Josephinum in Bonn. And I think that was a very important entrance to the Redemptorist community, to get to know some confreres in their personality, in their way just to live, to be, and in their way to give a testimony of their faith. That was very convincing to me.
Yeah.
I grew up in a family where I learned to pray. So that was a good thing and a very important thing to me. And I grew up in a parish where we had a dynamic youth ministry.
Yeah.
So this community, experience of community, was very important. And then joining Redemptorists, so I learned a new style of community. Yeah. And this dimension continues to be very important to me. In all the different ways I lived that. And a second thing is, expressed very well in the motto, the plentiful redemption.
Yes.
That means something which is much bigger than I already know and much bigger than I ever will understand, because it's God Himself. And He is still, He will still surprise me till the end of my life.
Great.
And that's a great message. Yeah? And it's redemption, so it's setting free, growing. And that's not just a saying. I met that experience. I could grow. When I joined Redemptorists, it was a very good time of growing in personality, in studies, in community life. So that was very strengthening to me.
Great. In personality, in community, and also in formation.
Yeah.
Great.
That's part of formation. Yeah.
Would you say incarnation of this Redemptorist charism, following Christ, being with the poor and the most abandoned, has helped you personally in your spiritual life?
Yes, certainly. Well, because in any way, being a believer, in some way, I have to live that.
Yes.
To do it, so to put it into practice, or to try that it's part of my life, not just my thinking, my praying, but really what I'm doing. The congregation, I'm very grateful for that. The congregation put me always on a place. Well, it was a dialogue, certainly, with the superiors and myself. No?
Yes.
But at the end, it's a decision of superiors. They put me always on places where I could learn something, or where I could grow.
Yes.
So, my first provincial Michael Kratz. He asked me to go to Spain during my studies, my first formation, to go to Spain for studying, to learn a different way of living Redemptorist life, to learn a different language, yes, certainly, a different culture. So something to learn and to grow. And that continued always. Sometimes not in the same sense I expected, and sometimes really challenging, but at the end that was a very important thing. Yeah.
Great. We thank the Redemptorists for that opportunity in your life also, in our life, in the life of many. Yeah. Now to this context of Europe, the society, the church, and the Redemptorist conference, what are some of the peculiar trends in mission?
At the very beginning, you introduced our conversation speaking about society and church and faith. As Redemptorists, as church, we share with our society in Europe the same history, the same, culture now. So it helps, I think, when we analyze our situation as a religious congregation, to have that in mind and to have a look on our society.
Yeah.
I think something special to Europe is that there is a long Christian history,
yes,
which is a richness and today sometimes a burden. And it's not just a burden because of the structures we have to maintain historic churches or whatever. Yes. No, for some people it is, or for many people, it is difficult to realize and to accept that we are coming from a history of being a majority in Europe, Christian Europe, now being a minority. To accept that, to realize what does that mean, and then, to have a positive attitude to that and not just being sad, yes, about the past or about the change.
Yes.
And I like very much that Pope Francis gave us this encyclica, The Joy of the Gospel. Yes. So coming back from sadness to the joy of the gospel. It's truth. That's the basics. No? Not our history is the most important. The joy of the gospel. That's our fundament. In all this process of changing we are living in, I would say the most important thing is the move to a plurality. We have a high variety of churches. That means, for example, in Spain, it's a church that comes from a almost Catholic culture, or Italy too, yes, in Poland. No? Yes. And it's now moving to a society living a pluralism.
A pluralist.
But in Great Britain, the Catholic Church always has been a minority, no? Since a decade now, seculars now. No? It's a totally different situation. Or in Denmark, no? In Denmark, it's a church of mostly people coming from outside. No? And a small minority.
Of Catholics.
So that's of Catholics. Yeah. And that's a different situation from the very beginning. Yeah? And this variety in culture, in expression of faith, that's also enriching and gives us a sense of richness and plurality. And I think that's important to have it in mind. This high variety we are living.
Yeah. The high variety and also the liminality, the change we are talking about. How can these trends help to inspire mission of the Redemptorists today?
Liminality, yeah. That was an important point or from the general chapter, and it is now. It continues. Well, it's our situation. Liminality. It means there is a change going on.
Yes.
We are familiar with the situation we lived in the past. we don't know what's coming up now. So we are a bit disturbed, or
Yes.
we are a bit
Anxious.
maybe anxious. There are a lot of reactions. There might be a curiosity, no? And let's look for a surprise. All these different reactions, but we don't know yet.
Yes.
So the first thing is probably to make a break, to have a closer look, or a closer look what's going on outside, and a closer look what does that mean. What does God tell us with that? What is He saying to us? So an attitude of listening.
Yes.
And if it comes to that, well, then we already have a very first step and a very good step done in learning, and that helps us in our mission.
Yeah.
That's certainly a great help, to be forced to make a break, to listen, to see, to pray about that, to listen to each other, to listen to the people outside of the church, to listen to people we don't know even yet, yeah? and to try to see and to understand what is God calling for now.
Yes. Introspection, listening, and reaching out.
Yeah.
That could be, these are the suggestions the Conference of Europe can take up. Or not only the conference, but the world. We are invited to listen. Pope Francis is inviting us to listen, especially to listen to those at the fringes of society. I think this is also a call to the Conference of Europe.
Yeah. And the interesting thing for me in the process of synodality,
Yes.
is listening, yeah, but then this step of reflecting, what does that mean? What do I understand from the other when I'm listening? And what does it provoke?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And then really the dialogue starts. And that's what the method of synodality proposes. So not just listening, and then well, I do what you want or I do what I want. No,
Exactly.
but really coming into an internal dialogue, giving what I can give, and listening from you. What did you understand? What are your concerns and fears and hopes?
Will this be your proposal to the Conference of Europe?
Not only for the Conference of Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we had that process of the general chapter in the 3 phases. I think we produced a good report to the canonical phase. That means reflecting honestly on what's our situation, what are our challenges, and very, very concise. We didn't write down a paper of 15 pages. No.
Yes.
Very, very smart, or very, very short even. And then we got really directions from the general chapter in that process, and we went back to the 3rd phase with the help of the general government, asking ourselves, what do we have to do?
Mm-hmm.
And we took decisions. One of these decisions I like very much, and let's see how we get it to put it into practice, are the missionary laboratories.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's immediately linked to listen. Listening, what do we have to do to try something, to respond to the people, again evaluate, did we succeed, or is there just only a misunderstanding, or didn't we get it in the right way? So an ongoing process of learning how to respond to the challenges we are living.
Yes.
And in that way you already designed, no? Looking or listening and analyzing, then understanding and making a discernment and doing something. and trying something, even something totally different, and then again evaluating. That means listening, looking, making a discernment, and do the next step.
Yes.
So I think that could be really an ongoing process that leads us far.
To mission.
Oh yeah,
because all at the center of all this, at the heart, is our mission.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what are some of the resources in the Christian tradition and in our Redemptorist tradition that you can identify as tools that will help us to engage in this interaction?
As Redemptorists,
yes.
Our first resource are our constitutions and statutes.
Yes.
And they are really written in the spirit of the Second Vatican Council and in that spirit of dialogue.
Yes.
They invite us always to deepen that dialogue.
Yes.
And to not to stay where we already are, but to do a step further.
Further.
But even when we go to our history as Redemptorists, in the very beginnings, this intention of Saint Alphonsus to be close to the people and to invite them to deepening their faith. Mm-hmm. I think that's a so precious resource from our history we have. No? Yeah. People are trying to find solutions, are trying to find answers.
Yes.
No? And to invite them to deepening what they already found in the first step.
In the first step.
Yeah. That's again this an invitation to grow in the faith, to grow in their lives.
In their lives. It is a popular perception that the crisis in religious life in Europe and in the world is a crisis of faith. Would you agree with that?
Well, in any way, it is linked with our faith, certainly. I would say it is mainly, or in some basic point, a question how to live our faith. Being close to people who are needy, mm-hmm. who in some way need the help of others, or who are in some way need orientation. That will change my way to live the faith, and that will deepen my faith. That will make it more intense. Yeah. At the same time, I will pray about that. Yeah? I will pray the people mm-hmm. I'm living with. I will pray the last day I lived, at the end of the day, or I will pray. I will prepare myself for a meeting. Mm-hmm. So it is all the dimensions, the relationship to my God, the relationship to the people, my better understanding of myself are linked, and to have and we are looking for a good dynamic of all these.
Yes.
And that's our challenge. No? So it's a part of living our faith, certainly. Yeah.
Is the Conference of Europe also examining or evaluating its own prospects in this dimension of having a living experience with Christ the Redeemer, living the faith, living Jesus in their mission?
Well, we try to do so. And I'm grateful for that question, because it reminds me on that community dimension.
Yes,
it's not only myself. No? It's not just one person, no? Or one Redemptorist. I think that's really a challenge we have. We are not so good in making common discernment. We know that. No? well, probably not everybody, but we know. It's as always. But to do a common discernment and to share our experiences, that's a challenge, no? And again, for that reason, I'm glad that we took that decision on missionary laboratories. It's not a question of having a community to develop new skills for mission, or to develop to learn something in their place.
Yes.
It's a question to put it to the use of everybody, and to give us the chance in the conference,
Yes,
to learn how to be better Redemptorists, or how to do our mission better. And that's not to say, well, what we did in the past was wrong. No. But we have to adapt. No?
yes. The past responded to some needs.
Yeah.
So will the present also respond to the needs of the time, the signs of the time?
Well, otherwise we will not succeed.
Yes.
Otherwise we will go down. Yeah.
We
will see.
In your estimation, would you identify a solid and a living relationship between the Redemptorist mission and the Redemptorist spirituality in the conference?
Well, we struggle always. We are living Lenten time now, no? So we have to, we have to convert. No?
Yes.
Certainly. But there is dynamic, there is interest, there are young confreres joining us. So there is an interest to be missionaries. It was a very good story to listen to hear from the conference in Slovakia that they started their mission in Lithuania. Mm-hmm. It's a small group. It's not a big province. No?
Yes.
But to have that experience, to start a new mission, that gives the whole province a new spirit. It's not just a thing of the 2 confreres or 3 confreres who are now in Lithuania. It belongs to the whole province. And well, we have to work on that.
Yes.
In the different units where we are living, and we have to work on that in the conference. For example, Albania is a mission of the whole conference.
Yes.
And that's not ready, not yet understood. No? People have to understood that better.
Oh, thank you for this frank sharing. How would you estimate the engagement of the lay, especially the youth and women in our shared mission?
I referred many times to this point of learning or growing. No?
Yes.
If we take that seriously, we have to have a serious and honest dialogue with our lay partners.
Yes.
We are partners for them, they are partners for us.
Yes.
And that will be such an enriching part of our lives. It will be challenging because it will change our understanding of being Redemptorists. Yes. We are very focused on the ministry of the priests, because we are a clerical institute.
Yes.
But to make some space free for that dialogue, and really to learn from lay people, from
yes.
youth, from women.
Yes.
And to do something together. That would be the best way to learn, to start to do things together. Yeah? And it's not yet, we still have to prepare good conditions for that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. A good formation for the lay apostolate, the lay involvement.
And for us.
And for us also.
For us to be prepared to work together with.
So the preparation is both sides.
Both sides, certainly. And I'm thinking, we have the task from the general chapter now, no?
Yes.
to develop or to present at the mid-sexennial meeting a common project of formation. And common formation, that means also to do something together. That means Redemptorist and lay.
Yes.
Not just in two different groups, but to do something together. Information.
Yes. I want to use your imaginative skills in this question I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm very good in that.
What will be the face of the Redemptorists in Europe in 20 years? And the same question applies to the general face of the Redemptorists in the world.
In 20 years? Who knows? There will be fewer presences of Redemptorists in Europe. There will be the group of confreres will be smaller communities. There is my hope that there will be shared communities together with lay partners, or in a strong contact with lay partners. We have that already, no?
Yes.
In various places. And we have good experiences, we have challenging experiences with that, no? As always in life.
Yes.
But that will be a part of the future. It will be a very international Redemptorist community. And focused on our mission, I think. I hope that we got to prioritize our presence.
Yes.
To be more faithful, to be at the side of the poor or the abandoned, and the abandoned, the spiritually abandoned, to take that seriously, and to go to that will be also part of that, to go to the basics of our faith. The culture which was supporting Christian life in Europe is already disappearing. There is not a common culture that gives prevalence to Christianity, no. So we will learn to work together with other groups of interested people, of people who are working together, working for the poor, the abandoned.
Yes.
And we will do it from our Redemptorist perspective, and we'll bring it into the process. They will do it from their perspective, and let's do it together.
Okay. So it will be a sort of collaboration or cooperation?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We will learn that, or it will be a difficult future for us.
Okay.
Yeah?
What about in the universal world, Redemptorists?
So, well, my hope is that confreres from Africa and from Asia will take on more and more responsible roles and offices in the congregation. Yeah, the importance will move away from Europe to other conferences. Not so clear, but more essential is that we stay faithful to our calling. So that means that we find ways to support each other, to be in solidarity with each other,
yes.
To continue the discernment on who are the most abandoned in the various regions of the world,
yes.
and to respond to that. No?
Yeah.
That's basic.
Thank you very much. Father Johannes, you have a special interest in art, but especially in contemporary art. Where did that passion came from?
Well, I would say it came from my father. So it's really from my family. No? My father he knew, he was a friend of an artist, and even being, he was policeman, and having a small salary, he started to buy paintings.
Oh.
And then it continued in being a student. In one of my classmates became a painter, artist. He's already dead. I feel very sorry for that. I was in a continuous contact with him, no? And it fascinates me. It fascinates me to express feelings, experiences, and then especially it fascinates me when it comes to religious art, contemporary art.
Contemporary art. Is there a place for this art in our mission as Redemptorists? And are we able to harness from the richness of this?
Well, there is richness in that. So it depends a bit on the people. You have to. We are living in such a plurality that not everybody can do everything. So somebody has to be interested, and then make contacts with people, and then start to integrate it in mission. And certainly, and we have confreres who are doing art. So certainly there is a place in our mission for that, in many ways, and it will enrich the way we are preaching the gospel.
Thank you very much for this expression, and I knew you were very passionate about it. I want to ask a final question.
Yeah.
If you are to advise the Redemptorists now on mission, generally, what will be your advice to all confreres who are in formation now towards mission?
For the confreres information?
Information.
Well,
initial formation.
Just start. And that means try to find a place, a moment to contact people from a different way of living. So to do a step beyond that what you are already knowing. And you will certainly, and being in contact with your identities, that means pray about that, and to meet honestly people from a group you not know yet. Well, you will find, well, as to say, the God who will surprises you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Father Römelt, for your kind sharing. You are a very deep philosopher, we know.
Well, that's not philosophy now.
We know it cuts across all the fields, and we are very grateful for your time with us to share in this conversation, and your frankness is well appreciated. Thank you so much, our viewers, for having time with us to listen to our conversation. I always pray that the Lord will lead us in our mission and help us to live the charism and the spirituality of this beloved congregation of the Most Holy Redeemer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.